Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to my video. Today we are going to be learning about the water cycle. Okay, so first let's find out exactly what the water cycle is. Well, the water cycle is a continuous cycle where water evaporates, travels into the air, and becomes part of a cloud, falls down to earth as precipitation, and then evaporates again. This repeats again and again in a never-ending cycle. Water keeps moving and changing from a solid to a liquid to a gas over and over again. So let's go over the process of the water cycle by starting out with evaporation. So what is evaporation? Evaporation is when the sun heats up water in rivers or lakes or the ocean and turns it into vapor or steam. The water vapor or steam leaves the river, lake, or ocean and goes into the air. So to just give you a little example exactly what evaporation does, we are going to take a quick view of this video. Okay, as you watch this pot of water, which is going to form into boiling water, if you can see right here, the steam from the water is the evaporation, just like it says over here. The steam leaves the water and goes where? I want you to think about that for 1 second. Where is that steam going? And as the water gets hotter, it produces more steam. So what's the next process of the water cycle? We have condensation. What is condensation? This is when the water vapor in the air gets cold and changes back into a liquid forming clouds. This is called condensation. So our previous screen, we talked about the evaporation. Evaporation starts from where? The ocean or maybe trees, wherever water may have landed, and it goes up to the clouds, which turns back into a liquid to produce what? You got it, precipitation. This occurs when so much water has condensed that the air cannot hold it anymore. So what happens? The clouds get heavy and water falls back to the earth in the form of rain, hail, sleet, or snow. So let's watch this quick video of the 4 different types of precipitation. Starting with rain, sleet, hail, and snow. After watching this video, can you tell me what all 4 different precipitation types have in common? Think about that for a second. You're right. They all fall down to the ground. Okay? And when it falls down to the ground, what do we call that? We call that collection. Okay? And what is collection? It's when the water falls back to earth as precipitation. It may fall back in the ocean, or it may end up in lakes or rivers, or it can end up on land. It will either soak into the earth and become part of the groundwater that plants and animals use to drink, or it may run over the soil and collect in the oceans, lakes, or rivers where the cycle starts. So let's see what you have learned. I'm going to allow you a few seconds to label your diagram that you have in front of you, and we're going to see if you know the process of the water cycle. Okay, so number 1, where or how does the water cycle begin? Does it begin here, or is it down here somewhere? Let's find out. You're right. It begins with evaporation. It begins with evaporation. That's correct. Next, what is the next process of the water cycle? If you said it was condensation, you are correct. Condensation is the next process of the water cycle. Following, and what does condensation turn into? Precipitation, that's correct. Precipitation is when the clouds become heavy and then they fall down. And where do they go? You're right. They go back into the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, and trees, or maybe even rocks, whatever water falls down from, whatever weather type comes from that cloud falls down to the ground. And what do we call that when it hits the ground? Collection. If you got all four of those right, great job. Well, you've learned about the water cycle. I hope you learned a lot, and thank you for watching.